Welcome to the Migraine Balance podcast. Today we have our second guest, Dr. Robert. The type of guests that we like on this show include fitness professionals, athletes, CEOs, doctors, executives, founders, brand owners, wellness leaders, and high performance individuals who have a story connected to health, discipline, resilience, and/or leadership. Welcome. This podcast is designed to be conversational, practical, and inspiring. We want guests to share their wellness journey, career evolution, personal routines, diet habits, achievements, challenges, stories, and advice for others building healthier, wealthier, and more profound intentional lives. Welcoming Dr. Robert. Dr. Robert has been an author, teacher, doctor in the holistic health field for nearly 30 years. Doctor's main focus is in the area of mind and energy. He has taught postgraduate courses to professionals internationally, to the general public. Doctor has even taught in the U.S. Secret Service, headquarters in Washington, D.C. Through his own healing and in helping others, he has found that much of his health, happiness, and success in life is the result of how the mind operates. Lately, he's been inspired to start a new path in helping, guiding, and mentoring men. Throughout his life, he's had many challenges connecting with women. But then he found out, after realizing he couldn't keep a relationship with one woman, failure after failure, how to reactivate his masculine energetics and prime in his body. Everything started to change. Women commented that his voice had changed. They wanted to connect with him. They were attracted to him in many different ways. Then he met one woman who far surpassed all of his expectations and attracted his dream partner. After he had had such a shift in his life, with regaining his power as a man, happiness in life, it became greater than he had ever expected in a relationship. He has found a calling to help more men to do the same, to guide them to success in love, in life, careers, by shedding some light on what he's learned along the way. Without further ado, let's get into this. So, Dr. Robert, thank you so much for joining us here today. What was the main thought or idea that brought you into health and wellness and becoming a doctor?
Well, thank you for having me here. And that's a big question. I never, when I was younger, thought I had what it takes to become a doctor. You couldn't even keep me in school when I was younger. But then I was going to my mother's doctor, Doctor of Chiropractic. I had some injuries from motorcycle racing, and he worked on me a little bit. And I just figured, oh, this, doctor doesn't deal with blood and guts and the things I was averse to. He just worked on my physical body and things started changing in it. I felt better immediately right there. And I figured maybe it's a good path for me. Maybe I'll go into sports medicine. And that's what I did. I decided I was going to be a sports medicine doctor. I moved to Los Angeles, started school. But my first week in the school, I saw this doctor that came to visit and speak there on more holistic medicine. He worked a lot with the mind and emotions. And I witnessed him with people working on their mind and emotions. I seen their bodies shift and change right in front of me. And I was blown away. And I just felt this is what I need to do. Now, I have lots of colleagues that work in this holistic realm. They work with some of the top sports athletes in the world, but I just kind of decided to go more into general practice, not to working on the sports medicine. But yeah, I've always been, since I got into helping others, being of service as a doctor, I got more into how can I help people get through their chronic issues in life and just kind of regain the health that they felt they were missing. And yeah, I just found lots of easy ways to do that through life. I had some great mentors, and through following these mentors, they showed me kind of what they discovered, and even up to 60 years of practice when I was just still a fresh student in school. So I was very lucky to have that mentorship.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Sports medicine and sports nutrition and athletes, that's always lots of excitement. And so, what are some of your favorite achievements so far professionally?
Well, for me, as a kid growing up in the rough streets of Queens, New York, my biggest achievement was just becoming a doctor. That was huge for me. But throughout that, I became a post-grad teacher for about 15 years, teaching other doctors internationally, kind of to learn to do what I was doing. But my biggest achievement, which you just mentioned, is being invited to work with Secret Service headquarters to teach them about emotions and stress on the body. That was one of my biggest achievements. And I was just working with them again this past Tuesday, just a couple of days ago, for one of their self-care days, just helping some of them release stresses that were just kind of, people have these stresses in their bodies that they don't know they're there, and they cause chronic issues, and just helping them get those things out, and just being so grateful I can put a couple hours in there and just kind of help. This means people have a shift in their bodies. But
Yeah,
otherwise, some of my greatest achievements are also just working with your day-to-day person that comes in my office that had chronic issues that were um, told just says that's the way it is, and I could help them shift that.
cool, cool. And so, what about Secret Service? Sounds fun. And so, what about personally? What are some of your favorite achievements personally?
Personally, is how I turned my life around. I grew up as a gang member in Queens, New York. I was actually at one time one of the top international known graffiti artists that there was too. And that life was not leading to good places for me. So I had a spiritual inspiration to just shift my life and change what was going on. And I did. I decided to become a doctor. And then from there, I was just gifted and blessed to meet many greats in holistic medicine, to then meet some spiritual teachers, and to where I've been going to now, just working with the energies of my body. And just realizing how when your mind's focused on kind of what you want in life and you cultivate the energies in your body,
Yeah.
you just go there in life. And it's things that so many people struggle with is their happiness, their well-being, their loving relationships. Those can all, you could set your trajectory on that, like you're a ship, you just put the sails that way, know where you're going, and you start going there, and these things start coming to you in life. So my biggest achievement in life is, I think, more spiritually learning how to navigate life and how to help others do that too.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. And so, when it comes to that journey professionally, can you tell us more on where that's taken you, in terms of places you've traveled, events that make you feel happy and proud, or memorable moments?
To me, wherever I go, I feel happy. So it's not like for me to be somewhere to feel the happiness. I mean, teaching across the US and other countries, going over to Europe. I mean, I love the traveling. But, I could be in some little industrial town somewhere and I could just feel good if I'm doing what I love to do, if I'm helping others to feel better, if I'm teaching other professionals how to do what I do. That's what matters to me. And yeah, there's many beautiful places to visit, and I want to visit more beautiful places, definitely, but I don't really make it that's kind of a basis for my happiness, because for me, all the happiness I got's in here. Wherever I am with this is just an amazing place right where I'm sitting.
Mm, okay. Okay, so tell me more about some of the masculine feminine dynamics that you have witnessed and experienced in a shift over the last 15 years.
Sure. During COVID, when everything was closed down, I was going through a period of my life where I realized my relationships weren't working out. Every time I was meeting a woman in a relationship, just there was all these problems. Either I had problems, they had problems, we both had problems. So things in my life up to that point never really were in harmony. Then during COVID, during the lockdowns, Mexico opened up a bit more at one time, and this woman, Sasha Cobra, was teaching there, and she teaches about the embodying the energies within the body, the male and female energies. So basically, if you look at your body, the part of your body that sticks out from your anatomy, for a woman, it's the breast, for a man, it's the genitals. You store more energy in that area. That area is filled with more energy. And sometimes it gets depleted through life. We deplete that through stress. We deplete that through the rat race. We deplete that through just getting confused in life about what we should be doing, how we should be living life, and it depletes that energy.
Yeah,
But when we build that energy back up in what we call the positive pole in that part of our anatomy that sticks out of our body, that holds that energy and we cultivate it. And it's almost like you get into a supernatural state of being. You have a happiness about you, a lightness about you. It seems like you get younger, you sleep better, your food digests better. You're also more psychically sensitive to people around you and what's good for you. But also, you have an extra sense about others, about around you, with relationships, and not only romantic relationships, but friend relationships, family relationships, and work relationships. There's more of a harmony when you with people, more of a lovingness with yourself, but also with others. And since I had a huge spiritual journey with this when I first went to that first retreat for almost 2 weeks when Mexico was open back during COVID.
right.
And my whole life changed through that experience of just embodying this energy, breathing into it, being aware of it's there. And yeah, I went on this spiritual journey like I took, some sort of plant medicine or something, but I didn't. It was just my focus, my energy, and my meditation. And since then, I kept up with the practice. Everything started to change in my life. Like you mentioned before, that I told you about, women started saying your voice changed, what'd you do? You look different. And people just wanted to be around me more. And then, I just magnetized someone to me that was unlike anyone I ever met in my life, where we just have such a harmony between us. And I think this is so important for people in general, just to have their happiness in life, but also their health in life, and also just knowing what's right for them in life too. So I think this is it's not just about relationship with someone, it's about just the enjoyment of your life and feeling this lovingness that you have for yourself in life.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I wonder if being a doctor, the doctor's journey, it's not necessarily workaholic like, but the hours when you're in that profession make it a bit challenging to have a relationship and to attract an ideal partner that can understand the nature of a doctor's schedule and support and what you need. And
Yeah, for me, I'm a little bit more of a laid back doctor. If you look at human design, I'm a projector, so I have to limit my amount of people I'm around and the type of people I'm around. I have to be very selective of who I work with. So for me, I really work with people I have a harmony with. And that makes it a lot easier for me because yeah, when I was first in school and I had to like be at the grind to work through school clinic and everything like that, I was falling apart. Um, so yeah, I design my life so that I can live life more, so that I can have extra, so I could be on a call here with you or something like that. I live my life more so I could do these other things in life that also help me to feel alive. And I want to help my patients I work with design lives like this for themselves too, to realize like, hey, you could do things in a little bit different way. Let's work on some of your self-esteem emotions so you don't feel like you have to make everyone happy. You don't have to spread your energy out too thinly everywhere. And for them to have a bit more space in their life too, just to kind of feel into their own um, their own space in life and to just really have your own room for yourself to realize life, to be in life, and to experience life.
Yeah, makes sense. And tell me more about your diet and how you feel about eating healthy alongside your profession.
So I feel diet is a huge thing with health, huge. What you put into your body, you will become. And I believe in eating food. So, but what a lot of people eat is not food anymore. People are eating these packaged things, they're eating processed things you call food, they're eating things that are made in a laboratory. I believe in eating food as close to as you can get it from nature as possible. Now, not only do you get more nutrients out of that, more, cofactors, more minerals, more good proteins, more good fats, but you get a life force energy from food that's fresh and fresher from nature. Now, I eat some raw food, I eat some cooked food, I mix that all up, but I really believe in um, fresh, healthy, organic, free range proteins. I believe in fresh, organic vegetables, and I believe in fresh, organic fruits. And that's mostly what I do is proteins, vegetables, and fruits.
Okay.
So I try not to eat much packaged foods, much processed foods, much, smoothies and shakes from powders. I try to get everything fresh as possible. And that works the best for my body. And I'm so sensitive. I could feel when something kind of like pulls me down or lifts me up.
Yeah, you said you had mentioned that you do some energy work. Is that the sensitivity you're talking about? Like you can feel if something brings up your energy or
Yeah, I've always been energetically sensitive. Even as a child, I've had out of body experiences and all sorts of spiritual journeys and stuff like that. It is very weird from my point of view, especially how I said I grew up in a rougher lifestyle. Um, but yeah, I could feel my body getting heavy and slowing down, and I know if it keeps going that way, I'll get sick. So I know, like, way before I get sick, I could feel the heaviness and slowness coming in. And I think a lot of people could feel this too if they would really just tune into themselves, to that feeling. Something else I do too, say I'm thinking about eating something. I'll feel in my body, how will my body feel if I eat that? And I
yeah.
could feel how my body feels if I imagine I ate that already. And I could feel it either if it gets upper energy, lower energy, and I could gauge a lot of things from that too.
Intuitive eating is called.
Yeah, yeah. And I try to be as mindful as I can as I am eating. I try to have a good space and relaxation. I try to really taste the food, chew the food. When you honor the food like that, and even just water and things like that, I think you absorb it into your body, you utilize it much better too, because you honor it and your body kind of knows what you're bringing in to it. And I think that has a huge effect on your body. I
Yeah,
think I think eating should be much more sacred than how people do it. And I try never to eat on the run, eat in the car. Like I don't do that. I want to sit down and enjoy a meal somewhere or yeah.
I agree with you so much on that. Actually, since you mentioned that, I feel like we should talk more about that because I believe you are correct in saying not many people understand intuitive and mindful eating, and maybe it would be good to have that information for our audience to really understand setting up an environment that is not rushed, that you can eat a meal peacefully, taste every bite, enjoy every flavor, chew slowly.
I think the next big piece to consider too is who made the food. So, say you go to just a nice place to get food and you just it's well known, has great ratings, everything. But if the people working who are preparing the food are in a bad mood that day, that goes to your food, that gets delivered to you. When you're in a bad mood, you make food, you eat it, that goes to you. So really even preparing the food, if you're doing it yourself, you try to be in a nice mood for yourself while you're preparing the food. Maybe put on some nice music, make sure the windows are open, you have a nice breeze, make sure you're just kind of in a nice space when you're preparing your food. But also, if you go somewhere, make sure the people who are working there are happy. They love what they're doing. They love being of service to make the food for you because that's a big factor too. Is yeah, who's touching your food? Who's preparing it? Who's serving you this food? Because that will like literally change the food too.
I agree. I agree. I agree so much on that. The energetics of what you consume, the energy goes into your body and impacts how you feel. Yeah.
And it's the same if you're in a romantic partnership with your partner, to be present with them. Just even a hug. If you literally really feel a person in a hug, I mean, a hug's like healing. That could change the state of someone's being, just hugging them. If you're present with that and you're giving it with an intent of, oh, I'm gonna hold this person, I'm gonna feel them. If they're going through something, I'm gonna help them, just whatever. Your intent just with a person too, it's all the same thing also.
I agree. The healing power of touch and hugs. I agree with that for sure. And when it comes to your location, are you based in Florida?
No, I'm in a DC area. I was in Florida for a few years, like right after COVID when I met you down there. But yeah, I came back up to the DC area a couple years ago. And yeah, that's where I am now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Dr. Robert and I met in Palm Beach for a conference, and that was so fun in Florida. I love it there. The breakers live there. Okay, cool. So DC, okay, cool. So you have access to a lot of healthy, anything health, everything there.
Lots of good stuff. Yeah, yeah. It's one thing I like about the DC area. There's a lot of variety here. I also just love the international mix of people here. And I'm a little bit removed up in kind of nature, a little bit further up north
That's cool.
and stuff like that. But yeah, when I go work down there, I just got to drive about a half hour down the parkway, and I'm in the big city that's, connected to so much of the world.
Yeah, I believe there's an International Development Bank there. IDB, is that what it's called?
hmm
DC. Okay, cool. That's exciting. All right, so what are your go-to meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
All right, so for breakfast, and I eat really simple. Okay, I'm just about what can I eat that's simple, that I could not spend too much time preparing, and where I can kind of get in and out the door, do the work I'm doing. So for breakfast, I mean, some of my biggest go-to is just fresh, organic, free-range eggs and sweet potatoes. Along with that, that's just kind of a very easy thing for me.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes have a lot more nutrients in them. It's not as much of a sugar spike. And I like to cook the eggs and potato in grass-fed butter. That's the way I like to go. Also, what I'll do is sometimes I'll do some oats, some, people call it porridge or oatmeal, whatever. I'll take some organic oats. I'll ferment them the night before to pre-digest them and ferment them in a little bit of an acidic medium like a vinegar or a lemon. And next morning I strain it out. But they are broken down and already like pre-digested. You just put it in hot water for a few minutes, they're done after that. And I put some blueberries in, some organic blueberries, bananas, stuff like that. And I also, again, use the grass-fed butter with that. I believe that there's different types of diets for different people. I'm a type O, so I need more of the protein, I need more of the fats and stuff like that.
Hey, do you follow your blood type?
A little bit, because what I've learned about that, if you have leaky gut syndrome, it's very important because all the ligands from the blood are transferring back and forth with the digestion, and that's where that's really comes important. But the healthier your gut gets, the less you have to follow that. It's not as much.
Okay.
And to me, it's just about, what you feel like. When I go on these retreats, sometimes I won't eat protein for several weeks or a month or two afterwards because I'm so much still in that energetic kind of spiritual aspect. I'll just be a lot lighter on the proteins.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll shift also my diet, what's going on. I'll do intermittent fasting once in a while. I mean, for men, it's a lot better. I know for women, it's not always that great. It just depends also on the individual.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
like to I like the intermittent fasting, but I love my veggies. I love my meats. Like I'll do salads with just some good protein on there. I make my own dressing from scratch. I don't buy these packaged salad dressings. It's so easy to do this stuff, but people are just so used to go to the store, buy something in a container and use it.
Totally.
Yeah. I try to at least have one big salad a day, and I'll mix different things in there. I'll use different lettuces, different vegetables, just depending what's going on with me and my body and what I'm craving. So, like I said, I try to get the raw foods in there. I try to get the cooked foods in there, and just mixing it up a bit.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. And when it comes to what you've learned about your diet, like, do you feel like when you're low in energy, you have one or two go-to pick-me-up foods or drinks?
Um, Low energy, I'll eat my food more pure. Just make sure there's less even condiments or little ingredients or stuff like that. Like, going back to my go-tos, a lot of nights I'll just have some protein. I like beef mostly, but grass-fed beef with just a mix of whatever vegetables I got, a little bit of seasoning in there, and I'll use the cold carb rice. Like you'll make rice the day before, put in the refrigerator for 24 hours so you absorb less of the carbohydrates of that. I'll do a rice that way with the veggies and the protein. It's just so simple. And sometimes I'll put some fermented foods on top, like some sauerkraut or something like that on top of all that, just to
That's
make it good for the
sauerkraut.
gut.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yum.
Yeah, yeah. So I get creative with things like that. Like I said, I keep it simple. But basically, I always go back to the proteins, the veggies, and the fruits, and that's it. Now, on Saturdays, I give myself a cheat day.
On a call.
Give
Uh-huh.
myself a cheat day on Saturdays, and yeah, that's when I eat pizza. I'll have some ice cream, but still, I try to eat the highest quality foods I can that way.
Hey, yeah? Hey, I'm on a call. Can you give me 20 minutes? Yeah, I mean treat day. We like to say treat day, so you have a little splurge here. Because
Yeah,
we
and
believe in having a good balance of strict routine and some sugars or treats here and there.
yeah, and I always eat the best quality things too when I have my splurge. I don't eat the stuff laden with chemicals. I eat the still the good ingredients. If I eat ice cream, I try to get, no additives in there. Just try to get the purest ice cream I can. If I'm going to get pizza, I want to make sure it's like handmade right in front of me. I'm like sitting there with the people throwing it in the oven and taking it out and just, yeah, it's good, wholesome food. I just try not to load up too much on the sugar starches because if I do it too much, I feel myself again. My body starts slowing down. I could feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want people to tune into those feelings too for our audience to really understand what foods bring energy and what foods deplete energy to lean more into energizing foods. And maybe because there are four different blood types, what gives you energy might give somebody else low energy, and what gives somebody else high energy might give you low energy. So it's very personalized. And I like to put this disclaimer that we chat about diet and nutrition, but for our audience, if you want specific advice, please see a professional, book in with a doctor, a nutritionist, one-on-one, so that you have guidance if you want to change your diet or routine. And when it comes to athletes, is it that you have seen different diets through your career?
I've seen everything. And it just depends if that's working for that person or not. I mean, if I'm working with someone and I see maybe their diet's not working for them, I'll make little recommendations. It's just up to them if they do it. If they do it, hey, we keep going forward, we keep getting them better. If they don't do it and things are just kind of plateauing, I'm kind of a more of a serious talk with them. Say, hey, we got to change something here because, you're staying where you are, you're not really excelling. We got to do something about that.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. And when it comes to whole foods, is that where you stand with your beliefs on nutrition? You like whole food, natural from the earth?
Yeah, I'm into what you would call paleo, but not the paleo where, oh, I eat almond flour cookies and all this, junk food that's made from what people would consider paleo ingredients. I'm about the whole fresh food in a paleo sense. I like to look back anthropologically how we've been eating for the past 100,000 years.
Yeah.
And that's what our bodies are designed to do. And of course, there's some wiggle room within that, and if you don't have many health problems, okay, you're doing pretty good. But if you're running into health problems, maybe there's something in the diet that has to be looked at. I see there's four issues with health in general.
Tell me more.
You have the biochemistry, of course. So the biochemistry, your physiology, you could have an issue if you're lacking something, you have a deficiency. And you have an issue if you have too much of something, you have a toxicity. So you have to keep that balance biochemically, and that deals with, the food you eat, the environment you have, toxins you're exposed to. If your body's under too much stress and using up too many things, you get a deficiency. That's the biochemical realm. We have the physical body, the joints, the muscles. Got to keep all of that in line too.
Totally
We
agree.
have the mind and the emotions. That's a big part of health. And then we have the energy of the body, the acupuncture meridians, the chakras, the aura. Now, all four of these, they affect each other.
Yeah,
If you have an injury, that could shift your biochemistry, it could shift your emotions, it could shift your energy. If you have an energy blockage, it can cause your biochemistry to go off, it can cause your emotions to shift, it can cause your physical body to have issues. If you have a nutritional toxicity or a deficiency, again, it could affect the physical joints and muscles of the body, the mind, and the energy. So everything affects everything. You just have to see what is the most important thing to start at with somebody and make sure all the other realms, all four, are also being taken care of.
yeah, I agree. And then when it comes to personalized wellness, we're using technology now a lot to be able to create personalized diet plans and to see deficiencies, because getting that information and blood work done early and regularly really shows our blood results to see what nutrition is being absorbed and what is being deficient, so we know where to supplement and how to keep those energy levels up to stay in levels of homeostasis and so forth. Do you take many supplements?
Yes, I take a good amount of supplements. I'm very specific about the supplements I take. I've done, for 30 years, applied kinesiology, muscle testing. So I use that as a basic guideline for myself. And then if I'm still just not there, I will go and do, different lab work and stuff like that and everything. But right now, yeah, I take stuff for male glandular hormone balance. I take um, just immune system support. I take some inflammation support. And I take a little bit of Hawthorn too, just to calm my nervous system and always keep my heart functioning the best it is. And that shifts and change every couple months. So I always, even though I'm a doctor, I make sure I go to another doctor to look at me because when I'm looking in the mirror, I can't always see a lot of things someone else could see in me.
Correct. I love gummy supplements. It's my favorite. When I go to America, I go shopping for gummy supplements. So fun.
I chew a lot of my supplements too, but they don't taste that good because they're freeze-dried foods. But yeah, I try to get whole food supplements. I use some synthetic supplements, but mostly I try to get the ones that are made from actually freeze-dried whole foods.
Okay, interesting. Great. And tell me more about your biggest challenge when you think about your diet, your fitness, your career that you want to overcome in the next year.
My biggest challenge is my willpower because that what makes any of that work. All right. If you have the willpower to get up in the morning and make something happen and to be in a good mood and to, when you have insights to follow up on them and move forward with them, you're going nowhere. It's all about the willpower. And that's something I help a lot of people with too, with just coaching and stuff like that and everything. It's great to have insights, but you have to be able to do something with them or else your life will not change.
Is that for the men?
Well, everybody. I mean, I've coached people of both sexes for years, but now I'm focusing a program more toward men to help them also build up this masculine energy and stuff like that. And that takes willpower to make a change in your life, put more room in your life to address these things in your life also.
Okay. And when it comes to your fitness physique, are you thinking of building any muscle?
I like to just stay where I am. I have genetics where I could build a lot of muscle. I have a brother 4 years younger than me. He's probably twice the size of me. He lifts heavy weight every day. I just do it like 3 days a week just to kind of maintain where I'm at for my age.
Right, yeah. Tell us more about your fitness routine.
Yeah, I like doing high intensity interval training. I love just going in the woods and just running like I'm getting chased by a tiger for like 30 seconds, walk 4 minutes, run 30 seconds, walk 4 minutes. I feel this is closer to the way we're designed to work. If you picture us hunters and gatherers, like I said, 100,000 years ago, always look back to that.
Well, yeah, it's always back to that in health and wellness with paleo, so that is very welcome if you want to chat more about that.
Yeah, yeah, the hunters and gatherers, you'd be walking, then sprinting, then walking, then sprinting. And um, if you look at sprinters versus marathon runners, their physiques are totally different. Sprinters are much more robust in their musculature. Marathon runners are a bit thinner and a bit more emaciated eventually after they, keep doing the long distance thing. So I think the high intensity interval training adds a lot to our physique and wellness and also cardiovascular. So I used to train a lot in martial arts, and I wanted to be able to get my heart rate to be up, down on command if something happens in real life. So it's another reason I like doing the HIIT training because it puts you in like 100 miles an hour mode, then rest and be able to calm back down again really quickly. Also, I like yeah, I think yoga is great. I've been doing yoga for probably over 30 years. I also like doing TRX, which is kind of like yoga from straps, a bit more suspended. You get better range of motion and stuff like that. And I love weights. I love doing heavy weights. But I try to not get extreme about anything because that's just my personality. I like to just kind of be in a place where it doesn't overwhelm my life with any one thing.
Yeah, makes sense. When it comes to exercise and having a routine, it's good for stress management. So we love chatting about those routines and having a body that reduces chances of getting injured and having a strong core and making sure to balance flexibility with strength training.
Yeah, one of my former mentors, instructors in the field of applied kinesiology, was one time the Ironman Coach of the Year, Dr. Philip Maffetone. He wrote a book called In Fitness and in Health. And in there, he talks about the Maffetone method, a method of building up a warm up for yourself and getting to a good exercise level, and then doing a cool down for yourself too. And also a formula to go and find your correct heart rate for when you're doing your exercise.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would literally take very well-known endurance athletes and say, you have to tone down your exercise. We have to get your heart rate down so you could do a higher amount of exercise at a lower heart rate. But it's so important to do the warm up because we want to bring our body from parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system
Yeah.
up into the sympathetic where all the blood is leaving our organs and is in our muscles and joints. And then we want to bring our body back down again. So we want to do like a 10-15 minute warm up, a 10-15 minute cool down to bring our body up into the sympathetic nervous system and back down again the parasympathetic so we don't put the body into shock. The organs work well. We don't stress ourselves out. We gradually go in it and out of it. So I think that's so important for exercise, and most people don't do this. I see people drive to the gym, start lifting weights, start running on the treadmill, drive back home again, but they
Mm.
never really have just the warm up of their body, of their physical body, of their biochemistry, of their physiology. Then they put themselves in a higher physiology and they don't bring it back down again. So
Mhm.
it's going to give a lot of problems with circadian rhythm balance, stress in the body, and yeah, just be able to recover. And you're gonna have a lot more chronic injuries that way too if you don't warm up and cool down properly.
Mhm. Okay, cool. We have some more time to go quickly into more of hunting and gathering with masculine and feminine because I mean gender roles are interesting to chat about in 2026. We were raised quite frankly that men are the providers and make the effort to cross the world and take action and do the work, and that girls are to sit pretty and be calm and relax. And America has its views, England has its views, Europe has its views, Australia has its views, the world has differing views on this perspective. And when it comes to nutrition, we talk about it all the time because the men go out, they hunt, they shoot, they kill in the animals, and they bring home these meats, and the women are cooking it and taking care of the family and picking berries, and we foraging, foraging in the forest. And so we think it's interesting to chat about, like, what are your thoughts on that?
All right, so each one of us have masculine and feminine inside of us. And this goes with our hormones too. Each one of us have masculine, feminine hormones just in different balances if you were born in the masculine or feminine body. So a man on the outer aspect should project into life his masculine attributes are things like being in leadership, decision making, um, being of support, um, being in his authority of what he feels is right. And these are the healthy aspects. Now, when a man gets into the unhealthy masculine, it gets into control, it gets into challenging. It gets into a lot of the things we see with just kind of the toxic masculinity, just not really setting a good, safe environment for others around him. Now, women, they're much more in their nurturing, much more in their lovingness, much more in their intuitiveness. Men are more linear thinking, women are more intuitive thinking.
Hmm.
Um, But when a woman gets into her toxic femininity, she's going to have a lot of just ungrounded emotions. She's going to be, mind's going to be kind of going crazy of all different thoughts because of the intuitiveness is not being grounded. They're going to have kind of a pushing away and not lovingness. So men and women, they both have the positive and negative traits of each sex. Now, for a man,
Hmm.
if he can embrace an inner feminine, like say the masculine is 80%, the feminine should be 20%, which is an internal aspect. Should be a caring, a loving, a nurturing. So when a man's in a healthy state, he has a part of that too that helps his masculine with an inner feminine. A woman, she'll have an inner masculine that helps her feminine. Say a woman, has her family, her children, she'll have within her a logical sense of thinking to help with the children. She'll have an authority. She'll have a decision making because you're sitting there at the child, you got to make a decision. She'll
Correct.
have that inner bit guiding her outer femininity. So that's kind of the balance between the two. So we have our what our polarity is, but there definitely is some wiggle room for that. But yeah, and we could also both go into the toxic aspect of our outer being or our inner being, and that's just not good in whoever it is.
Correct. It's healthy to check in to see the percentage ratio split.
Yeah, yeah. And to really embody the the psyche of each of the sexes, it helps to embody the energy. So, like we are talking about the energies within the male, female, the male, if you're present in your body, number one, you pull your energy back in. If your mind's out on, social media and on your phone and on the sports game and on, oh, what's going on here with politics or what's going on with my favorite actress or actor, your energy's scattered out. If you focus back in on yourself, it's what Eckhart Tolle just talks about being present in your body. You pull your energy back in. And then
Yeah.
when you pull your presence back in your body, when you just feel like your awareness is in your body, your feelings in your body, and then you focus more on that positive pole, the masculine energy is stored more in the genitals. That's the part of the body that comes out into the world. The feminine energy is stored more in the heart and the breast. That's the part that comes out to the world. So if you have your presentness, but also you kind of focus a little bit more of your awareness in those areas of the body, you'll
Yeah.
start to cultivate that more there. And then that also brings you to expressing more of those healthy attributes of the male, female into the world also. So it has to do with the energy. It also has to do with just kind of where the mind's at too. So that's why I always say it's like the mind and the energy both, because the mind tells the energy where to go. And once the energy is building there, then the body starts changing and your life starts changing too.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. And when it comes to anti-aging, is that something that you see as a doctor much or that you're interested in following into?
Yeah, so the most important thing with anti-aging is the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are your stress glands. They're two little glands on top of the kidneys. They support any stress your body encounters. So they help support um, the blood sugar. They help support the hormones in the body. They help support inflammation in the body. They help support the blood pressure balance in the body. So any stress that comes upon you, the adrenal glands say, oh, we need a little bit more help here in the body, a little bit more help there, a little bit more help here. And if they're healthy and they could take care of these things, any problem you have, it's going to get taken care of for the short term.
Yeah.
Now, if you keep going with the adrenal stress for years and years and years and years, if you break down those adrenal glands and they can't counter those stresses you're having anymore, then that part of the body starts to break down. Blood sugar breaks down, hormones break down, immune system breaks down, blood pressure breaks down. Then you start falling apart.
Okay.
And the adrenal glands, they say there's four types of stresses. You have the biochemical stress, like say if you knock your back out of place, it's painful, you have a stress. You have mental emotional stresses, stressing about work, about career, about school, about family, whatever it is. That's a stress on your adrenal glands. Biochemical stress, you're getting in too many toxins or you have too many deficiencies of vitamins. That's a stress on your body. And also thermal stresses, too much hot or cold or back and forth. That stresses out the adrenal glands too. On any chronic problem I ever find on a person, you have to fix two things, whatever the chronic problem is and the adrenal glands, because that's how the chronic problem wound up there, because the adrenal glands became weak. So they keep people young. They keep people not having these chronic diseases. They keep people healing well. The second biggest thing, which also goes back to helping the adrenal glands,
Okay.
having a loving outlook on life, having a loving outlook for yourself. Just your mind governs your happiness and your youth.
Cool. I feel like our audience loves talking about adrenal glands. Like most people I meet through my wellness career talk about adrenal fatigue and cortisol and adrenal glands. I love that you brought that up. So are you saying that that is what you've seen to be linked with anti-aging principles?
I think it's the most important part of anti-aging that's overlooked. I don't know why, but adrenal glands are really one of the most important aspects of why we get unhealthy and sick, but people want to look at all these other details, you know? And you could keep filling in all these other details with products and supplements and different, types of work that you do and things. But if you get the adrenal glands well too, this gets so much easier. You need less of this because they are healthy again. Um, the classic book is by Dr. Hans Selye about the adrenal glands and how he discovered they create any illness in the body when they're not working right. It's called The Stress of Life by Hans Selye. It's a classic book that most people just ignore nowadays.
Okay, cool. So I want to share my screen briefly for a moment while I check out your website to tell our audience more about you, where to find you. So this is Dr. Robert's page here and his website, healprofoundly.com, if you would like to connect more with him and chat more. Do you have a certain type of patient that you see, or is it that anybody books with you?
The certain type of patient I see is usually one that has not had any luck at getting over their health issues and they wind up with me. And I help a lot of people. Of course, I can't help everybody, but yeah, I help a lot of people get over their health issues, their chronic health issues.
Okay, chronic health issues. Okay, cool, cool. Just scrolling through your website here as we're wrapping up. I really loved having you on this show and this space, and I would love to have you again on in the future. We could chat more about these topics because I feel like the world and the audiences love chatting about relationships and masculine and feminine and hunting and gathering and paleo diets. Oh my gosh, I feel like I could talk about that for quite.
Yeah, just have a nice romantic hunter and gatherer relationship, right?
It was that simple. In the Caribbean, a lot of the guys do like to go fishing and hunting things. I don't know how it is in DC.
You get a lot of fishing around here too, and out in more outside the city areas, definitely a lot of hunting. Yeah, there's just some beautiful wildlife out here too, and um, it's something a lot of people don't realize about DC is nature's also beautiful out here.
Cool, man. Alrighty, so you have a book as well. Where are you selling your book?
It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Noble. It's very easy to find. Just put my name in there and heal profoundly. It's basically the story of my path from being, yeah, gang member and just kind of a youth that went through a lot of stress to spirit guiding me to become the doctor, the teacher, and now what I'm doing with men. But that book was written and published right around COVID. So I have a second book that'll be coming out called Masculine Heretic. And that's my new Instagram is Masculine Heretic, where I'm focusing more to help men because I just feel that I'm a bit heretical how I'm going in a different direction and most people really think that men are. I'm saying, hey, there's something a lot different here.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's check out your Instagram here. We have Doctor and the male heretic. Is that what you said? Masculine heretic?
Masculine Heretic. Yeah, that's one of my other Instagrams. I got a few of them.
Okay, cool. All right, well, we see where to find you. Also on LinkedIn. Also, you also do chiropractic.
Yeah, I do more holistically though. Like I work on people on their nervous system through their spine more to get their whole body functioning again. But I'm very good at just, hey, little aches and pains, that's nothing. But I like a real challenge, people coming with a lot bigger things that I could help them navigate in life.
Totally. Crack these spines into place.
Adjusting them into place.
Oh my gosh, chiropractor life. How interesting. Cool. All right. Well, that's it for today. Hopefully we get to connect again. Maybe Dr. Fab will have another event in Palm Beach or something fun and to connect with more professionals. And until next time, have a super healthy weekend. Thank you again so much for sharing your time, space, and energy with us. And
And thank you so much for having me.
a lot. Cool.